Rain tapped the metal lid of a trash bin behind the grocery store, fast and nervous like tiny fingers. The parking lot lights buzzed above the puddles, and the wind pushed paper cups in slow circles. A small puppy crouched under a shopping cart that had rolled against the curb. His fur was the color of wet sand, darker where the rain had soaked it through. He did not bark. He did not whine. He just kept his nose tucked close to his paws like he was trying to take up less space in the world. A car door slammed nearby. The puppy's head lifted an inch, ears flicking. He watched a man carry a bag of takeout to his car without looking down. Then the man drove away, tires hissing through water. The puppy lowered his head again. His collar was still on. The buckle sat crooked, and a piece of frayed leash dangled from it like a loose thread on a shirt. Every time the wind tugged the leash end, the puppy flinched, then held still as if the smallest movement might make something worse. He stared at the automatic doors of the store. People came out in little bursts, warm air spilling around their ankles. Shoes splashed. Carts clattered. Voices rose and fell. No one noticed the puppy under the cart because he had learned how to be quiet. A woman with a bright umbrella paused near the cart return. She shook out her umbrella, folding it with quick, practiced snaps. For a moment, her eyes landed on the puppy's shape in the shadow. The puppy's tail thumped once, soft against the wet pavement. He tried to stand, but his legs trembled and he sat back down. The woman's mouth tightened. She looked toward the store doors, then toward the road, then down at her phone. Her hand hovered in the air like she was reaching for a decision. Then she sighed, not mean, just tired. She walked away, shoes clicking faster as if she could outrun the feeling that followed her. The puppy watched her go, until her umbrella became another dark spot in the rain. He nosed at a crumpled receipt stuck to his paw and pushed it away. His stomach made a small, hollow sound. He licked his nose, tasting nothing but rain. From beneath the trash bin, something moved. It was so small that at first it looked like a leaf trying to crawl. A tiny kitten edged forward, gray with a thin white stripe on her nose. Her fur was puffed up from the damp, and one ear had a little fold at the tip like it had been bent and never quite straightened again. She did not run. She stepped carefully, placing each paw like the ground might change under her. The puppy noticed her and stiffened. His eyes widened, not angry, just unsure. He had the kind of wary look that came from too many surprises. The kitten stopped a few feet away and sat down, tail curled tight around her paws. She blinked slowly at him. Her whiskers trembled in the wind, and she tipped her head as if she was listening for something the puppy could not hear. The puppy sniffed the air. He expected her to hiss or dart away. Instead, the kitten lowered her head and began to groom one paw with slow, steady licks, like she had all the time in the world. It was a strange kind of bravery, pretending you were calm when everything around you was loud and cold. The puppy's ears eased down from their tight angle. He shifted his weight, inching his front paws forward. The loose leash end scraped the pavement with a faint sound. The kitten froze, her eyes flicked to the leash. The puppy froze too, like he thought he had done something wrong. For a moment they both stayed still, watching the wet strip of fabric as it fluttered. Then the kitten stood and walked closer, her steps quiet. She stopped near the leash end and reached out with one paw. She touched it lightly, just a tap. The leash moved. The puppy flinched and pulled back, bumping the shopping cart. The cart squeaked and rolled a few inches, metal wheels groaning. The kitten jumped back, but she did not run. She crouched low, ears turned sideways, eyes on the puppy's face. The puppy held his breath. His chest rose and fell too fast. A group of teenagers laughed as they crossed the lot. Their voices carried, sharp and bright. The puppy's whole body tightened, ready to disappear. The kitten glanced toward the voices, then back at the puppy. She made a small sound, not a meow exactly, more like a tiny question. The puppy stared at her. The teenagers passed without looking. Their laughter faded. The rain kept ticking on the bin lid, steady again. The kitten edged closer until she was just outside the puppy's reach. She sat down again, this time facing the store doors too, like they were waiting for the same thing. The puppy's tail moved once, uncertain. He leaned forward and sniffed. The kitten smelled like wet cardboard and warm dust, like she had been hiding under something dry before the rain found her. There was a faint scent of milk, too, but far away, like a memory. The kitten did not pull away. She blinked slowly again. The puppy's shoulders loosened. He laid his chin on his paws, but he kept his eyes open. He kept watching the doors, the cars, the moving lights. The kitten followed his gaze, then looked up at the shopping cart above him. She stood and walked to the side, peering at the cart's shadow like she was measuring it. Then she did something odd. She slipped under the cart, not all the way in, but enough that her body was half in the puppy's space. She tucked herself near the wheel where the rain dripped less. The puppy lifted his head, surprised. His nose touched her damp fur by accident. The kitten did not yelp. She only shifted an inch closer to the wheel and settled, making herself small but not leaving. The puppy's breathing slowed. He watched her, then looked back out at the open parking lot. He was not alone under the cart anymore. A car pulled in near the curb. Headlights swept across the pavement and under the cart for a second, turning the puppy's eyes into bright reflections. He blinked hard. The kitten pressed her belly to the ground. A man stepped out wearing a store jacket. He held a cardboard box and glanced toward the trash bin as if deciding where to set it. The puppy's body tensed again, ready to retreat deeper under the cart, but the leash snagged on the wheel. He tried to move and could not. His paws scrabbled softly. Panic rose in his throat, silent but strong. The kitten noticed. She turned her head and looked at the snagged leash like it was a puzzle. Then she crawled forward, nose close to the ground, following the leash to the wheel. The puppy watched her with wide eyes. He did not understand what she was doing, only that she was not leaving. The man with the box took a few steps closer, his shoes making wet squeaks. He paused, staring at something near the cart. The puppy shrank back, but the leash held him. The kitten reached out a paw and hooked the leash end, tugging it experimentally. The leash twitched. The puppy's collar shifted, and he let out a tiny breath through his nose, half relief, half fear. The man leaned in, squinting into the shadow beneath the cart. The kitten gave the leash one more tug, and the wheel rolled slightly, tightening the snag instead of freeing it. The puppy's eyes went even wider. The man took another step closer, close enough that the puppy could smell coffee on his breath and the clean scent of soap on his jacket. He lowered the box to the ground. Then he said quietly, "Hey, what's going on under there?" The kitten went perfectly still beside the wheel. The puppy held his breath, and the man's hand started to reach toward the cart.